This episode of the podcast is brought to you by patreon.com/lightscameranonsense. Visit patreon.com/lightscameranonsense to help support your favorite new movie podcast. Now, let's roll that reel.
Hi, I'm Nick from the podcast, and you are watching the edited down version of our Twitch stream over at twitch.tv/goodgooseinc, where you can watch the podcast being recorded live. Follow us over there so you can watch us live, or just watch us here at YouTube. Either way, follow us, like us, and we'll keep you entertained, I guess. We'll keep it fun. We'll keep it light. We'll have fun.
A bit louder, but it sounds good though.
You're good.
Well, don't fuck with me.
We're not fucking with you.
I'm already in the middle of changing dials over here.
We will no longer talk about your volume.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lights, Camera, Nonsense, where we give you all the latest movie magic you may have missed. I'm Nick, the Blue Blur Simmons, because I'm blue in the movie. We'll talk about it.
And the whole just previous part of your life is just a blur.
It's all a blur. I've been high or drunk for most of it.
Yeah. High on life.
Yes.
And I'm Zach. Can never pull his own weight. Smith.
I'm Kaycee, and I concur with the before statement.
You would, because that's the reason you're here.
Exactly. And oh my gosh. And if you are watching us live on Twitch at twitch.tv/goodgooseinc, that is our Twitch channel. I've already flubbed this. This is a great start. I do it every single week. I need to have the entire prompt written out and everything. Or you're watching us on our Patreon at patreon.com/goodgoose, where you can donate as low as $1, which is apparently a single line of eyeliner or like a large Coke from McDonald's. You can buy a lot of things for $1, including our Patreon to help support your favorite new movie podcast. Also, if you'd like to support us, we have a store at store.lightscameranonsense.com, where we have cool t-shirts like this one, or a cool bucket hat like this one. But disregarding all of that, like, because that's for the YouTube video. It's not going to make any sense watching it on Twitch. I just realized this. I'll come up with a better alternative.
It's really great live content is pre-production.
Is pre-production, and then like just getting none of the fun. You get the full actual content if you just watch it on YouTube like a normal person. So support us everywhere. Make sure to like, subscribe, 5 stars, thumbs up, give any kind of support. And we see it, and we love it, and we love you. Except for you, Dave. Fuck you, Dave.
I didn't know he watched these.
Honestly, Dave is kind of a bitch. Yeah. So,
Wow.
let's just dive into it. Kate, we obviously, it's a different setup because we have a guest here. Kaycee, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Zach.
No, but like hold on, like as the actual info. I'm sorry, Kaycee, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's it. That's my whole identity. I'm just
Zach's wife.
I don't do anything else.
Wow.
This is it. This is my I live to exist to be his wife.
No. We're gonna get canceled. No one's gonna watch it. My grandfather watches this. No, he doesn't. My grandfather doesn't care.
I don't know. What else do you want to know about me?
I just realized we had lo-fi playing in the background for this entire intro.
Nice.
Yeah, no,
relaxing.
It is until you get later into the podcast where it's going to be very stressful. Zach, I'm sorry, I don't care about you, Zach. Kaycee.
Wow, names in general.
You add one person to it, and it just goes off the rails.
That's what happens. We've name dropped like so many different names already. Kaycee, I'm glad that you're here. You are more than Zach's wife. Do you have anything you want to promote while you're here? Or do you want to save that till the end? Go ahead.
I mean, I'll do now and I'll do it at the end.
Fine.
Myself.
Fuck it.
I have a book Instagram, Shelves of Kaycee, Kaycee. I post all the different book reviews. Excuse my dog.
Yes, the listeners and viewers are familiar with Limo.
He's kind of a mascot.
Comes with the territory for anyone recording out of this house.
Yeah.
It's true.
I post book reviews. I post, unboxing, funny reels. I'm also on TikTok at the same name. So, yeah, if you want to follow me there, if you like to read or you like book content, I post pretty much every day.
Links will be down in the description for you to follow her.
Speaking as someone who is very much unbiased, it's fantastic, and you should definitely check it out.
She puts more production into her Instagram and TikTok than we do in all of our social media combined. So,
for real, the shit she's doing over there makes this look like a fucking dog and pony show.
I was trying to be modest. But all right, fine.
I'm being real. I'm being truthful.
You're knocking both of us down a peg or two. I don't know if I appreciate that, but okay.
Be knocked down on
Unbiased.
Like
whatever. All right. Well, fine. You can go visit her there, and we'll do that at the end too. But let's just go ahead and dive into it. But let's start with Kaycee again, because I get enough of Zach like every week.
This is just like the whole Kaycee show.
Well, trust me when I say that I have much more to talk about because I have much more that I watched. So how about you just chill out there? No, what did you watch, Kaycee? What have you been watching recently?
Proceed to be like, no, it's my show.
It's my show. My show.
Okay, what have I watched? Okay, so the biggest thing that I have watched lately is Bridgerton season 2.
Oh my goodness.
I loved that. I thought that was so much better than the first season, and I loved the first season. Like I had nothing bad to say about the first season, but I thought the second season was so much better.
This is interesting because this is like I've heard the exact opposite from most people, that they actually didn't like it as much.
Well, I think like there are some criticisms that I've seen that are like they gave too much time to like a bunch of different side stories, and that they should have devoted more attention to the main love story, which I agree. There were lots of parts in the side stories that I was just like fast forward. But I think that the main story made up for it. You know, it was just incredible the way that they wrote that. I mean, and of course it's a book, so it came from the original source material, but just the way that it started with the love story being really truly enemies to lovers, where they hated each other, like truly hated each other, and then that turned into love. You know, sometimes it feels like they market certain things as enemies to lovers, but then like they get together really quickly and you're like, oh, were they really enemies? But this was like, I mean, up to the last episode where they really like push and pull all the way to the end. So I really like it whenever they drag that out so long.
Okay. Well, that's cool. No, I having watched the first season, I think just when it was in that time period where everyone was watching whatever was trending, because we were all stuck in our homes. Bridgerton season 1 was definitely hot and steamy. Is it Shondaland? Is that the name of the production company? Where she's like does Grey's Anatomy. She does Desperate Housewives.
No. She did Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. Bridgerton.
Basically, whatever is super popular, there's a good chance that she probably executive produced the show. And I remember
she's got some banging writers.
Well, they should probably keep it professional there. That's all I'll say. I mean, speaking in context with the content of what she likes to produce, come on, let's dial it back with our subtext here.
So with the sorry, I'm jumping in here real quick.
No, go ahead.
I watched probably I think about half of the first season. You had me sit down or I think I was just on the couch and you turned it on, and the side stories in the first season were certainly there, but it sounds like that there is a problem maybe with the side stories in season 2. Is that like kind of a common one of the it's a sort of common thing that you see a lot with shows that do really well in the first season, and they have all these different characters that people have preferences on, so they're like, oh, we can expand the show into more than just the central characters that were the driving force of the first season. Now we can do all these little mini threads and, you know, kind of your Game of Thrones effect sort of thing. So is that kind of what's going on? Is that
they didn't do that like on purpose. All of that is book material. Okay. So everything that has been filmed and done with all these side characters were in the books. So like, and then they're setting up the next season for those side characters because it's those side characters' book. Like each book is a different couple. So like the next book, people are speculating what season is going to be the next, whether it's going to be Benedict or Penelope and Colin. I think it's going to be Penelope and Colin because they really ran with her story this year or this season with like Penelope. I don't want to like spoil it, but like she had a very large arc in this season, but it leads to her book. So I think like that's why I think it's gonna be the next one, because the last episode really punched their relationship hard, and it being like that's where it like left off on a cliffhanger. So
thank you, Zach.
Give you a little
punch
cursory laugh.
Well, Zach mimed out my punch because with your end it doesn't matter. Audio listeners just don't know. That's why you got to check us out on Twitch.
A t-shirt. That's a t-shirt right there. If I heard one. They just don't know.
They just don't know. They miss out on a lot of the shenanigans, to be honest. Kaycee, that was a very thoughtful summary of Bridgerton season 2. I don't know if it's one of those shows I'll ever go back to, just because, and hear me out, and I'm not taking away from Bridgerton season 2, but I've been watching a lot of K-dramas, K-romantic dramas, or dramedies, I guess. More recently, I've been watching Business Proposal on Netflix, and it's just like the other show that I mentioned on this podcast, which was Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. Fantastic. It's always that one was about a fish out of water dentist who gets cut out from her dentist community.
Congratulations to the fish. That takes a lot of work to get your degree in dentistry.
Not the fish, damn it. What was I saying? I meant fishing village. She moves out to a fishing village that she visited when she was a kid after other dentists were like, I don't like her, or she's like trying to get a raise, so fuck her. And so she moves out to the country and starts her own dentistry practice, and she starts to slowly fall in love with the local handyman, and it just kind of rolls from there. This is much
ensue.
Well, that was Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, but Business Proposal was it's this romantic comedy about a lowly like company worker. She just deals with I think food science. So she works for like a food production company, and the new hot shot young and beautiful company president is trying to get blind dates. It's complicated. The young handsome president, who's our main male protagonist, it gets set up with blind dates because his grandfather wants to have grandkids before he dies, even though there's no indication that he's dying of anything. And age, so age and time, yeah, time happens. But she's already yawning. It's a good start thing.
Yeah, you know, I just think
you can cover it up. Hold on. Hold on. I'm not trying to get away from Bridgerton season 2. I'm just mentioning because it's tangential, you know.
Is what you're saying.
I think like you kind of have a responsibility with having this like podcast to watch all of the newest things, like to be able to speak on them so that other people can know that like whenever they're looking at new things to watch, that they can look to you for that.
Well, just tell you, this is the worst strategy to take because it actually makes me look awful.
It does. It makes Zach look like shit because he never watches anything.
Wow,
when you
Zach.
say that it's our responsibility doing this podcast to talk about all that, I'm like, you mean me? And if I had a time turner, I wouldn't be able to watch all the things that get released every single week. We will talk about it later, but I literally went to see a double feature just so that I could talk about some of the bigger movies that came out this week. And I did want to watch them, did want to talk about them anyway, but it was almost kind of it's my responsibility to see everything every week. I do not have enough money or time or even creativity to tie in everything.
I have to do with books, you know, like I have to read all the newest books that come out.
I know, but you're not reading it aloud to an audience, or you can review it, but it's a time commitment in and of itself. I don't know, it's different. It's the same thing with, I guess.
You should put reviews out. So
that's true. That's true. I guess we could do that. We could do that on our TikTok. It's just Zach needs to. I'm calling you out right now. You need to watch things, and you need to give me edits of your reviews so I can put them on our TikTok.
We'll see.
Oh my gosh.
While Nick is having an attack.
He's having like a possession.
It was a sneeze. It was.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Did that come through? Did that come through the mic? Okay, that's good. I thought I muted.
You mute just a little bit there. One thing I will say about Bridgerton and by extension all the Shonda verse stuff is it's like she just does drama really well to the point where it's like the stuff that it's always so fucking crazy. So even if that's not like something you're normally interested in, if she has it on in the background and I'm like walking past the couch or something, I'll be like, what's going on? Who's that? What's going on there?
It's like that trend on TikTok where like boyfriends and fathers will they'll stand behind the couch and be like, they'll kind of meander, and then they're finally like, who's that?
There's like a sense of intrigue with everything.
So I think we need to talk about because I've only seen reviews of this second season, but I did watch the first season. This season is not as steamy as season 1.
It's not. No, there's only maybe 2 sex scenes in it, and
not enough.
They're not nearly as explicit. They're pretty covered.
Oh, I mean, that's fair for the story. If it tells a good story, then what it boils down to is that's the point.
I think it's the books. Maybe that book just wasn't as steamy. Like there weren't as many scenes, and they've only given them 8 episodes to do with what they can. And I think Simon and Daphne just had more sex in the first book, and then in the second book there was a lot of other stuff going on, so you don't really have as much time for those things. And when you have a proper enemies to lovers, it takes a long time to develop that into lovers.
Well, maybe the brother is just a prude. He was a stick in the mud in the first season.
He's definitely not, because in the first couple episodes he's sleeping with whores.
Oh, well, a different kind of prude, a very selective prude.
It could also be, this is just conjecture, but there was a pretty famous falling out that Shonda Rhimes had with ABC and Disney.
Right.
Which is part of the reason why she's doing Bridgerton for Netflix. So now that she maybe has a little bit more extra wiggle room to do kind of whatever she wants, maybe she was, again, just complete conjecture.
Yeah.
I don't know her personally, but maybe she was like, hey,
let's go crazy.
This first time with the reins, not being pulled in.
Let's see how far we can take it.
I got away with in season 1, and then season 2, it was like, all right, that was fun, but let's dial it back a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
That could be. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fair. I'm really not familiar with most of her other shows though, so.
I do think the writing was better for season 2 as well.
Okay.
I just think there was a lot more quippy lines, and there was a lot more intrigue, and I overall just liked it better. And I did really love the first season. I had very little to complain about except for the one rape scene that I absolutely loathe, and everybody hates it in the books as well.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I really loved the second season.
Fair enough.
I think you should watch it, Nick. I think if you liked the first season, I think you'd really like this one better.
Well, when it comes to dramedies, and it's a big hurdle for me now that I've started Business Proposal on Netflix right now. I gotta finish that. Yes. It's so. Thanks, Zach. I lost my track. I lost my train of thought. It's a big time. I want to commit to that, one kind of drama series on Netflix. It was, especially when it comes to romantic comedies, I kind of want to stick to one kind of show. The only downside is that every episode is a minute and change, or an hour and change.
A minute. Wow.
It's super short. Yeah, no, 1,000 episodes.
To commit to it.
No, but it's just like Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, where I was complaining about that when I reviewed that last time. Yeah. That the episodes are an hour and something minutes each time, and they shove literally 3 episodes worth of story into one episode of each of those shows. So it's just something that they do in South Korean dramas, I guess, which is fine, but it's like 13 episodes of an hour long each, and you're getting 13 hours of one season.
Yeah.
And it's, same difference when we were complaining, Zach, about certain drama shows being 24, 25 episodes per season, and it's 45 minutes each. It's the same thing. So yeah, I'll give it a shot. Fine. I will watch it on your recommendation. I'll just have to fit it into my schedule.
Finish your business proposal show first, and then go to it.
It's not like you should just say finish your business proposal. It sounds so professional.
Thank you.
Finish your business proposal.
I don't have a stack of papers. Like, all right.
Picture Nick in like an actual suit jacket. He's like all.
How was that your wedding?
Yeah, I know. I'm picturing it, and then you're all taken care of and everything.
What the fuck does that mean? Am I not taken care of now?
Taken care of. Ooh.
Oh. I don't like that. Could be either taken terribly or it could be taken like you're hinting at something. You know anybody?
I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Zach,
proposal for your business proposal.
Kaycee, did you watch anything else, or was it Bridgerton you wanted to talk about?
I also watched the 4th season of Good Trouble that's just come out.
Good Trouble.
I'm really upset about it. Maya Mitchell has just left the show. It's the Foster's spinoff.
Oh.
I loved it. I mean, the first 3 seasons were so good, and now I have only watched half of the 2nd episode because I'm so annoyed that Maya Mitchell isn't on it anymore.
Right.
And she's got a good reason for not wanting to be on it. Her and her sister were like the main parts of the TV show. So, I mean, like, why would I want to watch
50% of the show at that point?
Yeah.
That's the problem with spinoffs.
Watch one sister.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but apparently she hadn't seen her parents since before COVID, and she's Australian. So she wanted to go and live there for a little while because she hadn't seen them in,
That's
2
understandable.
years. So
Totally understandable. Like, of all the reasons to quit a show. Yeah, that's probably the most understandable.
it is the best reason, but it's just I wish they would have either like pushed filming or I don't know.
Yeah.
But I get it. Like, she's probably just done. I mean, she's played this character for 10 years now because she was in The Fosters as the main character and then came over with Good Trouble. And so, I mean, it could just be that she's just tired of playing that same character over.
Yeah. So maybe looking
things.
Maybe trying to start a new chapter, basically. This would be a good reason too. So. And
they left it open-ended for her to come back if she wanted to, and I like the way they ended it. I think it was like really honorable for her character arc.
Oh, okay. Could you see this as the ending for the show itself, or could you see it going on?
I wonder if other people feel the way that I do, that the show just doesn't feel the same without Maya in it. I haven't watched the 3 episodes that are out without her in it because I'm just not motivated to want to watch it without her. So I don't know if that's going to kill views because she's not in it anymore.
Right.
Or if maybe everybody will be like me and they'll eventually just suck it up and watch them and they'll end up being really good and then the show will keep going. But I definitely could see this being the end of Good Trouble if the storylines of all the other characters are not punched up.
Well, there's definitely a chance for you're definitely not on your own when it comes to that opinion. When Michael Scott left The Office, there was a definite change in how many people were tuning into The Office for the subsequent seasons, for like 3 more seasons, which was 3 more seasons too many.
Yeah, they went a long time without him.
It just milked the teats of that show. Just little tiny teats, but they milked it. And people were just like, I like Aaron, but that's about it. Andy sucks. But yeah, anytime they try to do either a spinoff show or the character just leaves for even just 1 season, especially when they're a main character, it's a big hit on them. So maybe.
I think that Vampire Diaries got destroyed after Nina left. I mean, she was the main character of Vampire Diaries and she left and it was boring after that. I mean, people complain about Elena being such a boring character that they don't like her, but like she was the main meat of that show. So, when they left, Vampire Diaries just went way downhill.
Same. I just went way downhill. All right.
Yeah.
Constant downhill trend for me.
Just a spiral. Zach, moving on to you. What have you watched?
So the reason why I brought my lovely wife on here today, it's because she had to pick up the slack for me. Because the only thing I watched was episode 2 of Moon Knight.
God damn it. All right. What'd you think about episode 2 of Moon Knight?
Listen. In my defense, for the longest time, I had no free time at all. In my rather naivete of the last week, I thought surely I'll use that time to watch a shit ton of more stuff now that I have that time available. And what actually happened was I just used it all for video games.
You know,
Nice.
Which I hadn't been able to play really for like 3 months. So
we oh my gosh.
my bad. But for episode 2 of Moon Knight, I won't go too much into it just because it's a running weekly thing that's not finished. So there's not a whole lot of extra stuff to add on to. And I know, Nick, you got quite a bit to jump in.
This was one of them. So
okay, well, there you go. I'm just having fun with this show, and I know you were kind of cool on it for episode 1, but it was like almost instantaneously when I turned on the show. I was just like, this feels, to me, it feels so much like a comic book.
yeah.
It's very similar to the thought I had after watching The Old Guard, where you can see the shot composition mimicking page layouts and like the artistry that goes into that. Like I could literally see this being something I could hold in my hands and read as a actual comic book just because it's so well shot. And I'm just having so much fun with it. I'm loving it. And again, it feels really different from a lot of really. I don't know if I'd say all of Marvel, but a good bit. Like, you know, you have a general feel of what a Marvel show or movie looks like now.
Yeah.
And especially with the shows that we've kind of seen the Disney Plus output kind of churn out over the last couple of years. But with Moon Knight, it feels comic book Marvel, not show Marvel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe, and I'm just really, really enjoying it.
So, fun fact, both Zach and Kaycee, Zach, you may be familiar, but the showrunner / creator of the show Moon Knight, Mohammed Diab, the reason he got the job was because he literally submitted, he's been such a huge Moon Knight fan for so long. He wrote like a huge, like 300 something, I don't have the actual number, but like a huge treatment for if there was a Moon Knight TV show. Oh, wow. And he went up to Marvel Studios and he's like, slammed it on the desk. He's like,
that's awesome.
I want to do this. And so they're like, all right. Because if you look at his filmography, I have it pulled up here on the stream. He has not done quite a lot. He's directed Moon Knight and then 3 other films, one of them being a short film, I believe. So he does not have a huge, large experience like a Kenneth Branagh or Edgar Wright, you know, potentially, or the McFeelys or James Gunn, you know, any of the filmmakers that with Taika Waititi, any of the filmmakers that we're familiar now with the MCU. So the fact that he was able to do something like that, and the Kevin Feige admires and honors passion, and that's why we've been able to get so many different looks. Like Chloe Zhao with the Eternals, she was obviously approached with that, and she's all right. Here's a first look. Take a look at this. Yeah, and they're like, that's awesome. Yeah, let's do that. That's different because they definitely can see that there is kind of a downward trend for MCU when it comes to like, oh, they just all look the same or they all feel the same. They seem kind of boring. I'm done with all this. And now we're getting like different looks and feels of characters that we are definitely not familiar with. Like people who may have known who the Guardians of the Galaxy were when that was announced, definitely probably didn't know who Moon Knight was. And so they're definitely.
I think actually it'd be the opposite, where if you know who Guardians are or who Moon Knight is, that means you're probably at the time. Guardians was an outlier, even more so than, you know, comparatively to Iron Man. You know, there's so many instances within the MCU of them taking these unknowns and kind of, you know, pushing him into the center stage. I would argue Moon Knight is a more recognizable name than even Guardians was at the time. Um, but like it's a similar kind of feel where, yeah, your general comic reader might, get all these ins and outs that you're throwing and referencing around. But for your general moviegoer who's not a comic book reader, then it's your opportunity to bring them in and make them care.
Right.
And to the point of like what you were saying, where they were looking back at the track record of the previous stuff and going, this is kind of similar. Like there's a lot of stuff about the humor quality of Marvel films, and they have specific beats and whatnot. And I know a lot of people still kind of feel like they're still in kind of that beat form, for the joke, action, that kind of stuff.
We need to have one shirtless scene. We need to have them be quippy and funny. Every main protagonist needs to be funny, and he also needs to be well known to a degree, as an actor.
Well, and so like you're looking back at that, and if you as Kevin Feige are I wish, right?
Hi, I'm Kevin Feige. That's what he sounds like.
Looking at that as an opportunity to kind of, carve out a new sort of niche or a genre feel, because you sort of had to rely on that feel a lot of the times in the previous arc, because it was all connected and building on one another. You wanted it to feel cohesive. You didn't want it to stray too far. And now I think they're kind of feeling like 25 movies. Fuck, like that's gangbusters. We obviously we want to keep on going with this momentum as much as we can,
building it. Yeah.
We also have an opportunity now to kind of explore some different avenues and, get a different feel. So even though, like, personally, I wasn't a big fan of Eternals, I get why they went a different route with it. I can see the idea behind switching up the formula a little bit, or going with something that's lesser known, or in this instance taking a guy who's just super fucking passionate about the source material and saying, yeah, I mean, you obviously love this shit, let's put you behind the camera and see what you got. And personally, I think this one is working out gangbusters. But I don't know how you feel about if you feel any different about episode 2 as you did with 1.
I'm about the same. I think that it's I definitely like the momentum of the show and where it's going. I love the fun little references and Easter eggs to we got that Easter egg that I mentioned in the last episode that references Falcon and the Winter Soldier on the side of the double-decker bus. I like that Oscar Isaac is really kind of hamming up this London accent. Yes. And people who are like being nitpicky, like, oh, that's a terrible London accent. I'm from London. Oh, tea and crumpets, biscuits. Oh, soccer. That's what they say.
Sure, yeah. It's definitely a way to get people on your side. Just insult them wholly.
Anyway, I love that he's hamming it up, and people who are being critical about that, they don't realize that this is a aspect of his character and maybe it's justifying something.
It's kind of the point too, right?
Yeah.
Like
he's an American.
There's even a character who's like, what the fuck is this accent, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. So I like what Oscar Isaac is doing. I think Ethan Hawke was a brilliant casting so far. I think he's playing it kind of muted right now, but we're still kind of learning things about his character and the world at large. I do like, and this has been slowly trickling out as kind of maybe a leak or Disney trying to pull back the expectations for everyone. They're like, how is this going to connect to is it going to meet this person? But not only has it not been confirmed for a second season so far, but it also has limited its references to the greater MCU, and Oscar Isaac has not signed on for multiple years and multiple appearances and projects. Right. Because in the past, Kaycee, they would usually sign on actors to like, hey, you're going to play this character in, say, 6 movies or TV shows related to Marvel projects. And they did not do that with Oscar. And actually don't think that they did that with Loki at first, but then that later came out that he did.
Yeah, the treatment
re-sign on
season 1 was just supposed to be a season 1 treatment, and I think they said the writers came out like on the second to last episode, and or it might have even been the last because they had the stinger.
Yeah, they had to wait for the.
They were like, yeah, this was like down to the wire. We didn't even know if we were gonna do a season 2.
Yeah,
and then sure enough, they are. Which I mean, it was like one of the most popular shows.
I think I saw the metric. I think it's like literally WandaVision, Loki, and then Moon Knight, and then it was all the other shows. I'm personally excited, even if it is just the one season, and I don't think it will be because it's Marvel. It's kind of hard not to just go, all right, season 2, we're seeing 6 million people watching this concurrently. Might as well. It's money in their pocket somehow. And so I'd be interested to see like if this is going to eventually tie into the greater universe, like if they're going to wait to like film one last scene to tie it into the rest of the MCU, but we'll have to wait and see. With this,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say with the actual MCU shows that weren't the Netflix ones that they're slowly trying to introduce back into the MCU, but the ones that they're doing now, I think they're doing exactly what you were saying and just having fun with it and seeing what they can pull off and, you know, seeing how they react. It's where we live in a time where you can do anything on screen.
It's true.
We're going to talk about it, but I watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2. They made 2 Sonic the Hedgehog live action movies.
Yeah, that's wild.
Actually, 3 was confirmed with the Knuckles spin-off show. I don't even know what the fuck that is. We'll get into it.
Yeah. Just the last thing I'll say about Moon Knight is, you know, to your last point, where it may or may not connect down the line. You know, we're kind of through the looking glass here at this point. I don't think 3 years ago anyone would have been, or 3 or 4. I don't remember when No Way Home production started. You know, there were all these theories going around, but I think until people saw, you know, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all on the same screen at one time in the same fucking movie, I don't think that was really anything that it was like fan casting at that point, you know, or that fucking Charlie Cox would have like a 3-minute cameo in that movie. So I think, you know, all bets are off. Never say never. If Moon Knight never shows up again after this, I mean, I'm still gonna. What was that?
I was just on my camera. You can't see it because it's cut off. I was just like pointing out the tot in my shirt is being cut. Okay. Doesn't matter. It was only for me. You weren't even supposed to notice. Sorry, go on.
Well, he's gonna notice everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm always checking you out, don't you know?
Eyes are up here.
I'm all frazzled and confused. What was I saying?
I don't know. Something about Moon Knight.
You said that even if Moon Knight, doesn't ever come back again.
If it's just this one-off, I'm still gonna, unless it like super shits the bed on the latter half. It's still something that I think I will go back and watch. And still enjoy on its own as something, you know, unique to the MCU. And if we get a cameo or whatever, or he's like, you know, doing stuff in New York at some point with Daredevil, that'd be fucking rad. But, you know, like, I'm just going to enjoy what I have right now. And it's almost like we spent so long like wanting everything to be connected, and it's still really cool when that happens, but like I've had so much of it that I really don't mind your one-offs, and you're like, this does take place in the same universe, but they don't necessarily have to like, oh, here's Moon Knight having a chit chat with Iron Man or, you know, some shit. I don't really need.
Well, I feel like you've lost the element of surprise from that anymore. It's like, oh, okay, everything's connected now, you know, so yeah, maybe that would be nice to have one that's just kind of separated on its own.
Not only because in the context of losing that element of surprise with like online leakers just like slowly leaking out information, like people have already spoiled the entire plot of the Flash movie if you're not careful. So I've already had that movie ruined for me. Not to mention the fact that Ezra Miller sucks.
Yeah,
which we won't have to get into.
That's some rough stuff going on.
They are problematic, much like so many new, like we're in a comic book show, so we can do whatever we want, you know, because we signed a contract. But Yeah, they are not a great, especially when they're the lead. Anyway, moving on.
But that is it for me, sir. After waiting, stewing all this time,
Stew.
it is now your chance
Stewing.
to take the reins.
Look at that
Swing
forearm.
for us.
Man, I am muscular.
Oh, that's churning. That's churning.
That's yeah. No,
I think that's probably just the lighting, like the way that your arm is hit. There's no muscle there.
it's muscle. It's muscle right there. Like you can.
No, it's just lighting.
Wow.
Short king.
Purple. Let's go ahead and talk about.
Stand a short king. Do you ever wish you were tall?
I am tall. I'm taller than you.
Yeah, but no, like actually tall.
I am actually tall. I'm taller than average. The average male height is 5'8". I looked this up yesterday or the day
You know
before.
what? I love that confidence that you have.
I'm 6
You
foot.
should be confident in your height.
I'm literally 4 inches taller. Let's talk about the stuff I watched. And I watched 3 movies this week, and actually I watched Moon Knight, and I finished the TV show Severance, which is on Apple TV. So I'll just talk about that real quick because the season finale was this past Friday. Written, produced, created by Ben Stiller. It's this show about Adam Scott and John Turturro and other actors who I cannot remember. Hold on. I have it pulled up right here. Let's see the cast. Britt Lower, Zach Cherry, Tramel Tillman. It's this show about a bunch of office workers who work for a company and they don't really know what they do. And it's all about how they are actually the inner personality of people who live outside of the work building. So they have an innie and an outie. And it's people who had decided to do a procedure to cut out a piece of themselves and put in a chip, and basically every time they clock into work they turn into a different version of themselves that only exists in that office building. And
Interesting.
yeah, so it's so the innies who work in the company have no idea what the outside world basically kind of looks like, or they don't know who their outside person is. They don't know if they have kids. They don't know if they killed a man. They don't know if they do painting as a hobby in that order. And they basically just try to figure out what they do as part of their job. And it's kind of just this mysterious, like, there's always like 5 questions after every answer revealed. You've got Christopher Walken who shows up, and he's phenomenal because Christopher Walken is the best.
Yeah, well, it's the walking. You know what you're gotten.
You know what I'm doing. That's bad.
I liked it.
Thank you. So it's fantastic. It just finished up. It's on Apple TV. I don't want to reveal too much. I feel like I already have, but just watch the first episode and see what you think. I honestly really loved it, and I'm really excited for where it goes from here. It's already been greenlit for a season 2. I don't know if that changes your opinion, but fantastic.
The track record for the Apple TV Plus shows have been really top notch as of late.
We've been talking about this, for several episodes, but I actually saw on Twitter earlier today that Severance is to drama as Ted Lasso is to comedy for Apple TV. So that's high praise. That is high praise. It's a very crisp, clean show, and you're definitely going to get like cool, mysterious vibes. And if you want to do it week to week like I did, you don't have to because it's all now there to stream back to back. But if you want to do it week to week, it's way more fun as like a water cooler type of show. So didn't think I was going to talk this much about Severance. Let's just go ahead and talk about what will be my movie of the year, Ambulance. That's directed by
movie of the year. It's only April.
I know, but I've already said that like for 3 different movies so far this year.
Oh, okay, great.
There was a tweet I saw like not 30 minutes before jumping on this podcast that completely changes my perception of this movie. But I'll wait to see if you mention it.
Okay. And I think I actually know which tweet you're talking about because maybe it showed up on my feed too because you liked it. But Ambulance is all about a bank heist gone wrong, Kaycee. Directed by Michael Bay. If you're not familiar, he did The Rock. He did Armageddon.
I'm familiar with Michael Bay.
Okay. I'm not sure. And
He likes to blow things up.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal and Yahya Abdul Mateen II play brothers. One who was obviously adopted. They're not biological brothers. But I'm just bringing that up because it gets mentioned several times as a offhanded joke in the movie.
That sounds about right for the tact of Michael Bay.
Yeah, I feel like he's still several decades behind where we are as a PC culture kind of thing, but it doesn't matter. They play as brothers, and Yaya's character, Will Sharp, who, if you're not familiar with, Will Sharp was the name of the commander in Armageddon, so he's just reusing names now. Yeah, although it's William Sharp, it doesn't matter. And he's basically down on his luck because his wife needs surgery and it's super expensive. He's behind on his bills, so he asks his brother, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, "Hey, I just need to borrow a loan." He's like, Jake Gyllenhaal's like, "Come with me. I've got a bank heist." And Yahya Abdul Mateen is like, "All right, fine. Why not?" Because he was formerly in the Marines and he realizes that he's desperate. So they try the heist. Turns out, LAPD cop is like, "Oh, I want to talk to this receptionist because she's really pretty." And his squad mate is like, I can't remember the quote. It was a movie quote. It's literally a Michael Bay movie quote. Oh yeah, it was the Sean Connery saying, "Losers try their best, winners get to fuck the prom queen," and that's a literal line from The Rock, Sean Connery. Sure. And so the other guy's like, "All right, fine, pull up to the bank." So they pull up to the bank, and the guy is trying to knock on the door to see if they're even open because the bank robbers have already gotten there. They've locked it. Jake Gyllenhaal lets him in anyway, and he fucking flubs it trying to ask this girl out, and then he realizes Jake Gyllenhaal has a gun. The heist has gone awry. Police get there, they chase him out, and they hijack an ambulance where Eliza Gonzalez is treating a cop for getting shot, basically, and just take it from there. It's speed at that point. It's basically them driving all over Los Angeles. It's a love letter for Los Angeles.
As it would be.
As you
would expect.
Yeah, it's literally like if you look at the poster, it's Ambu LA Ins, that's highlighted.
Yeah, that's the thing I saw.
Yeah.
Drawing attention to the LA.
It's very much about that, yeah. And so it's, them trying to get out of, being chased by the cops and getting away with the money. There's emotional resonance in there a little bit, but it's your typical Michael Bay movie. It's got all you want. It's got explosions. It's got heart when you really didn't need it, and heart when you actually do need it. It's apparently based off of a Swedish film called Ambulansen. Oh, that's the Swedish or Danish. It's a Danish word.
I feel like I haven't been able to watch anything that Jake Gyllenhaal has been in for years because I was so scarred by Nocturnal Animals that I will never watch anything with him in it ever again.
Oh, well, I was going to say he's actually this is his third Danish film adaptation that he's been in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he was in the film last year called The Guilty, where he's a police dispatch caller. And he's bless you, Kaycee. And he's trying to save a young girl from being kidnapped, kind of thing. And the other one is Brothers, which came out in 2009 with him and Tobey Maguire, and those were all based off of Danish films. So that's kind of fun. If you plan on watching it, you're gonna watch it. It's a Michael Bay movie. It's your turn off your brain. Don't think about the logic. Michael Bay will show up as a cop trying to stop the heist at one point, and he will show up at the end just as a guy doing this, I think.
I was gonna say, how many gratuitous flag shots are there?
There is so one thing I will applaud this movie for is the drone shots that he does in this film are phenomenal. Like, I'm talking, if you've ever watched a drone race, where you're watching the actual cam footage and they're just zigzagging around like Luke Skywalker in the Death Star. I'm saying he's doing some weird ass camera sweeps. It's everything you thought was gratuitous in his older movies that he did practically by just crouching down and filming up and spinning around with lens flares everywhere. He's doing that with drones now, where he's just doing gratuitous LA shots, as interstitials. He's flying around in, I guarantee you, he destroyed at least like 40 cameras to film this movie. Like, a car is flying towards the screen and it does not stop to cut away, so it like slams into the camera or the movie screen, and then it goes on. But it's Michael Bay. You know what you're getting. There's nothing new or I don't know, intuitive about his style. He doesn't really change anything. I will say that Jake Gyllenhaal turns in a fantastic performance. All three of the main leads, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, is it Eiza or Eliza? Eiza Gonzalez. I'm destroying that pronunciation, but they all do great jobs. And the movie ends exactly how you think it ends. So
at a hospital.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
With an explosion.
With several explosions, Kaycee. With several.
Okay, on a scale of off, like filler episode of ER.
Okay.
To the ending of Hard Boiled, where does it fall?
So I guess I'm kind of spoiling the ending of Ambulance, but not really. The hospital does not explode, so it's not on the level of Hard Boiled. I know. It's just the destination. It's not the journey. The journey is the explosions. The destination is fine. All right. Again, don't want to spoil it. It literally just came out as I spoil Morbius last episode.
Sure, there are about as many people who care about.
The director spoiled the movie, so he'd spoiled it before it even came out. So I don't care. I think I'm done with Ambulance. Ambulance is fine. It was after a huge dry spell of no Michael Bay. It was nice to see Michael Bay again, and it not be Six Underground. Sorry, not sorry, Ryan Reynolds. It was just fine. Moving on to the next movie. Okay, so. This will be fun. This is a fun gimmick. Just let me have this. Heads or tails? And it is a pun. That is a pun. So pick one.
Tails.
Heads.
Well, damn it. It was supposed to be unanimous. It's like deciding which movie I wanted to talk about next. So I'm going to go with tails. We'll talk about Sonic 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is a movie that came out this weekend. And oh my God. It's pretty great. It's a pretty great movie. Really? I had so much fun. Yeah. Kaycee, why are you surprised?
Hold on.
I don't know. I just heard they were terrible.
This is the same person who also really loved the first one. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Hold on. Fuck you, first of all. Second of all, I literally rewatched the first movie right before going to see it, going to see the second movie. So. Bear that in mind as I compared the two movies as the credits rolled. Yeah, bear that in mind. Oh, that's a t-shirt. I guarantee you that's already a t-shirt. I'm picturing it. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. God damn it. Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
We're trying to stall so you won't talk about it.
But why? It's actually a very enjoyable movie and probably one of the better video game movies. So like,
it's a low bar, but in his defense, Sonic 1 was, for me personally, a serviceable movie.
So what did you?
It was probably one of the better video game adaptations.
So what did you not like about the first movie? Just real quick.
I don't have anything that I exactly disliked. It was just a fine movie. I wasn't in love with anything.
Okay.
That was there. Maybe if I had to pick one thing that I kind of disliked is that it's a very old style of video game movie where it has to hinge its video game characters on a new scenario that is not out of those games, or characters who are not out of those games. So you have your Jane Marsdens that are like, your standing characters, and
right.
It's like they have good bits, but at the same time, it's like it's hard for me to reconcile the fact that you don't have enough. Either you don't have enough faith in the source material to adequately adapt it,
right?
And I'm not saying you have to follow it to a T, but I think there's a fine line between, having to do something the exact same way it was over there,
right?
and like veering off course to where it's just like the characters are there, but it's not really a Sonic movie, you
So
know?
I don't want to start off with the things I didn't like, but it kind of ties into what you're describing with your okayness of the first movie. This Sonic 2, I would say, is definitely an improvement on not only being just more of a video game movie. It's not just, hey, this is a movie with a video game character in it. Much like any adaptation of like a comic book or like a classic character, like Mac and Me. This is more like it's pulling moments and like environs and characters, obviously, and references. There's way more references in this game or in this movie, in this movie than there was in the first one. The first one, I totally agree. It definitely feels like this is just a treatment because they wanted to have an IP with a very famous character and money. This one definitely feels more like a passion project for not only the creative team, but for, I guess, the people okaying the production checks, you know? It's the same director as the first film. And so you'll definitely see there's a consistency between the two. And you could definitely see that his passion behind the movie itself. But Sonic the Hedgehog 2 introduces Knuckles, who is a fan favorite character, as well as Tails, who was referenced in the stinger for Sonic 1. You've got Jim Carrey coming back and somehow like dialing it up to 11 even more than his portrayal in the first movie, because he's got the mustache, he's got the bald head, he's becoming Eggman. Yeah, he's Dr. Robotnik. He's definitely evil. You've got posters, you've got song cues, you've got little like ringtones of the actual songs from the games showing up. It feels way more like a video game movie. The problems I disliked with it, and I love this film. I think I rated it 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. But the problems I had with this is, and a lot of people I saw didn't really have a problem with it, but actually kind of enjoyed it, is that the human characters in this movie detract from the video game characters in a way that kind of halted my experience at a certain point. Like there is a whole B plot going on with the human characters about like a wedding and like how they, Tika Sumpter is James Marsden's wife in the first movie and in this movie. And Tika Sumpter's sister is getting married, and like she doesn't like James Marsden, and like the guy that the sister is marrying is like, listen, I don't like how you've been treating my new wife here, kind of thing. And I'm like, this is like, where is Sonic? And in the context of the movie, this, like, I'm trying not to spoil the whole movie, but in the context of the movie, it makes sense, and it later eventually pulls in the A plot. And but there is a large chunk of the movie where they're kind of building on the world, and again, I won't spoil. And certain characters that are coming back, they bring back the Olive Garden joke from the first movie, Zach.
Such a weird thing to bring back.
It's a weird, like, is this a sponsor for the movie? But that's just the government agent character who's like, thanks for the tip. We're going to give you a Olive Garden gift card, or let's give him a gift card.
It's such like mean humor.
It is, but it's not as cringy as you think, because it's literally just that line and they move on. Like they don't like constantly bring up Olive Garden like in the first movie. Anyway, I think if this was Jim Carrey's last movie, because that was a huge headline, Kaycee, is that Jim Carrey might retire after this movie. I would be sad. And a lot of people were saying like, please don't let it be Sonic 2. Please let it do like Eternal Sunshine 2. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? They just want another movie from him to do something transformative, as he usually does.
24.
Well, but I mean, like, I personally came out of this movie going, he could leave this Sonic franchise in a way, and then I won't spoil anything, but he could also come back if they wanted to. And they've said that in interviews as well, like on the red or blue carpet or whatever theme they did. Where we would be sad to see him go, but obviously there's a way for him to return, of course, because we love working with him. All in all, love the movie, love the characters. Some of the scenes dragged on for a little bit too long, and the human segments, of course, much like Godzilla, were a little bit slower for me personally, but I definitely feel like they were more cohesive and integral to the plot itself. Like, there's a whole family subtext of the story and how Sonic is not grown up enough to be a hero. So he learns to become a hero, and he gains his own family with Knuckles and Tails. Oops, spoiler. They become friends in the end. But you're going to love it. If you have kids, go see this movie. This is going to be the kid movie that everyone's going to go see. And I'm really excited for where they take this in the future. We're getting 3 Sonic live action movies in this timeline, Zach. So love it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're happy.
Shut up. You. And the final movie I want to talk about, and the reason I wanted to talk about it last, is because I'm 100% serious. This will be in my top 10 movies of this year. Zach, are you familiar with the movie?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I am familiar with it in the form of everyone is talking about it on film Twitter.
Literally everyone everywhere all at once is talking about this.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt. It's slowly becoming like a sleeper hit type of. It's an A24 film, so it's already got the prestige of that studio. A lot of people love that studio. I want a hat. Somebody buy me an A24 hat. You know, I would wear it. I'm not even normally a hat guy. Like, I've got a big head and I got like swirly poofy hair, but I would wear a hat. I'd become a hat guy if I got an A24 hat.
If you got an A24 ascot.
Scott.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Am I Fred Rogers?
You might be.
Am I
Fred Jones, by the
I'm
way.
thinking of Fred Rogers. I'm thinking of who's Fred Rogers?
Like Walter who?
Am I thinking of the wrong Fred Rogers?
You're thinking of Scooby-Doo?
No, I'm thinking of the American television host Fred Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I know he was a Thai guy, but I could definitely see Fred Rogers. I could definitely see him wearing an ascot.
What's his first name, Fred? I
Yeah.
just always refer to him as Mr. Rogers. Weirdo refers to him as
I
Fred
thought
Rogers.
Mr. was his first name.
Mr. was his first name. Mr. No, his name is Fred McFeely Rogers, which is so great that his middle name is McFeely. Like, can we all just like
Congrats on the middle name.
Congrats on the middle name. Well, because it's appropriate. It's an appropriate middle name. Not everyone gets an appropriate middle name. Kaycee, what's your middle name?
Marie.
That's fine. So, Zach, what about
basic.
you? It's Zach. What about you?
Mine's Brandon, but everyone just thinks I'm saying Brandon.
Yeah, because it's Brandon. It's like pick a lane.
It's Irish.
You're going to offend all the Irish.
Well, I'm trying to get everyone as far away from this podcast as possible, if you haven't already gathered.
Okay.
The final movie I wanted to talk about is Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's about an aging Chinese immigrant swept up in an insane adventure after trying to file her taxes. I don't want to spoil too much about the movie, but it is fucking insane. It's directed and written from the Daniels, who did Swiss Army Man. And Kaycee, Zach, if you're not familiar, that is the movie where Daniel Radcliffe plays a farting corpse for the entire movie.
I remember that.
Yeah. So they literally have not come out with a movie since 2016 with that project. So this is a long time coming. You've got Michelle Yeoh. Let me go back to the Michelle Yeoh. You've got Ke Huy Quan, who, if you're not familiar, played Short Round in Temple of Doom. He played... Oh, help me out, Zach, from the Goonies. What was? I'm just gonna click his name.
I literally saw Goonies for the first time.
Data.
Whenever it was, I watched it.
Data. And he's
that's right.
ever since those films, he literally left Hollywood because there were not enough Asian American roles, and he was invited to come onto this. He's like, sure. I've been a action choreographer for Hollywood. He literally did the choreography for The One, starring Jet Li. Phenomenal film. Check it out. But this film it's definitely got that weird feeling of it. If you've seen the trailer, you're seeing like Michelle Yeoh being, transported during different realities, different multiverses. You've got googly eyes. You've got, rocks trying to talk to each other. It's insane. It's kind of hard to describe what this movie is. But it's at the center of it, Michelle Yeoh and Kaycee Kwan and their daughter Stephanie Sue, all have like different things going on. They're being audited by the IRS. There's Waymond Wong, her husband, Kaycee Kwan, is trying to file for divorce. He's trying to give her the papers. They're slowly losing their daughter because Michelle Yeoh's character can't really accept that her daughter is a lesbian, and doesn't want to present that to her father, played by. Do you want to guess who plays Michelle Yeoh's father, Zach? Think of James Hong. If do you not know who that is? This is the villain from Big Trouble in Little China. He plays Panda's father in Kung Fu Panda.
Never saw Kung Fu Panda, and I've seen Big Trouble once.
Oh my God! What is the matter with you?
Years ago.
All right. In Turning Red, he plays Mr. Gao.
Okay. Well, that's kind of a big part.
Oh my God! He's literally been acting for decades.
I don't deny it. I just have really based
Also has a
on
lot of people.
Have you seen R.I.P.D.?
I haven't, no, because it looked like a very movie.
It's a very shit movie. I was just trying to pull something that you may have seen. He was in Balls of Fury.
I think I have. No, have I seen that one?
You should watch Balls of Fury. That movie is fantastic.
If I saw that one, I saw that was another one.
It's if you rewatch it, it's very problematic. Like it is. It's very trouble. Here's Christopher Walken again coming back to this podcast. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now you remember. He's
with him in Yellowface. That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Again, I don't want to get too far into, because if I try to explain it or if I try to say anything about the story, it's going to get confusing. It's a very deep movie, much like Swiss Army Man. You wouldn't think a movie about a farting corpse and a man stranded on an island would be too confusing to describe, or trying to paint a picture for like someone who may be interested. Like, I don't know if I want to check it out. You should check out Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, this is, I'm saying it is required watching. I don't say that a lot.
I have it on my list once everybody started, sounding the alarm bells about it.
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis plays an IRS agent, and she is just there throughout the movie. She's phenomenal. It's one of her, probably my more favorite performances from her as well. Michelle Yeoh, of course, kills it. It was originally supposed to be a Jackie Chan or Jackie Chan type actor, but they reversed the role. And honestly, I think Michelle Yeoh is a perfect fit, and she loved working on the film from the interviews that I've seen her describing her work on the film. It's very wholesome. It's very heartfelt. It's very confusing. It's very weird. It's different. You should be watching this movie not only to show Hollywood that we want to watch all the weird, wonderful ideas that lesser known directors and screenwriters and producers want to make. I'm not trying to be like Scorsese or comic books are the death of cinema kind of thing. I don't think that if we continue down this path of like everything is Marvel or everything is DC or everything is comic movie stuff, and yeah, it is prevalent, but the fact of the matter is there are still wonderful stories that you should check out. And I think we've talked about it multiple times. A24 is a great avenue for that. I think Neon is a great production studio behind stuff like that. They did a trailer for Marcel the Shell with shoes on. They're making a live action movie of that. And that I was already like ready to sob before the movie even started because of that trailer. Just closing thoughts. Definitely check out Everything Everywhere All at Once. But do not drink a large soda at the beginning of the movie, because then you have to pee and also pay attention because you're actually enjoying the film really a lot, and it distracts you, and you're like, man, I should just piss myself and get it over with, but there's also like a family right next to me, so probably not.
That was the bar.
Yeah,
That was like a thing when
would have done it
Endgame
during
came
Sonic.
out,
Yeah.
that people were like, don't drink anything.
They did the
because
same thing
Endgame
for
is so
Batman.
long.
Batman is 3
was it?
hours long, yeah, so definitely don't
Wasn't Endgame longer than that?
like by a couple minutes, maybe.
I thought it was 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I thought it was closer to 4.
Hold on.
Like
We'll do
at
this.
the tail end of
We'll do
3.
this. How long is?
Oh no, it's 3 hours 2 minutes.
Okay, well then, yeah. The
The
Batman.
Batman was 2 hours and 56
Well, god
minutes.
damn it! Why do I even have a job? What the hell? So, 2 hours and 56 minutes. Yeah. Okay, but with credits. No.
Well, I mean, Endgame has credits.
Kaycee, you're not allowed back. I'm.
Oh, okay. I mean, I didn't want to be allowed back in.
All right.
Big. Yeah, I should see Lizzie over there making her like bukus of followers, and
I'm sure. Yeah.
Don't come to this podcast. It's terrible.
It sucks. My husband's the worst.
His audio is
Implication.
terrible.
Wow, Ace. Like you're doing it on purpose now.
That was perfect timing for his audio
Wow.
to be so horrible.
But this has been Lights Camera Nonsense, keeping you updated despite our best efforts. Make sure to tune in every week here on twitch.tv/goodgooseinc whenever it doesn't fail us. And I'm definitely going to blame Twitch and or Discord, and it's definitely not my computer.
Yeah.
For all the latest news, reviews, and what else, Zach? Oh my god. It's going to be... Should we even release this in audio form is what I want to know. I'm going to have to just to be consistent, but I just want to warn everyone.
It's going now. It's all fine. I blame you.
How?
Yeah.
How is
It's
this
your
my fault?
Computer restarted.
All I want to do is go fast, and that's all I've done this whole time. So I had to talk about 3 movies in the span of your whatever. Anyway, make sure to also check us out at store.lightscameranonsense.com and buy some merch there to help represent your favorite new movie podcast. You can also follow our social media down in the description, as well as Kaycee. Go ahead and promote yourself yet again.
Yeah. If you want to follow me, I'm at Shelves of Kaycee on Instagram and TikTok. That's it.
Okay, cool. Follow her there. Tell her you love all of her content. Or just in her comments, just say Zach sucks, and we'll know it's you. So
Yeah.
it'd be perfect. But this has been Lights Camera Nonsense. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Adios, amigos.
Oh, later, skaters.
Oh, that's my bad.
It's a Moon Knight reference. Bye. We're good.
Hey.